2 weeks from now, on January 7th, the federal government is going to do something it hasn't done in 5 years. They're going to reach directly into the paychecks of 1,000 Americans and take a piece of it. No warning, no negotiation, just gone. And here's what the headlines won't tell you. Those 1,000 people? They're just the beginning. Because behind them are 5.5 million Americans already in default. Another 3.7 million who are 270 days late. And millions more teetering on the edge. The government calls this administrative wage garnishment. But there's a darker pattern here that the mainstream media is completely missing. A pattern that connects a 5-year pause, a $1.6 trillion debt bomb. But here's the part the news isn't telling you. Let's start with what they want you to know. On December 23rd, the Department of Education announced they're resuming wage garnishment for defaulted student loan borrowers. The official story is simple. Borrowers took out loans they haven't paid in years, and taxpayers shouldn't foot the bill. The numbers are staggering. More than 5 million student loan borrowers are currently in default, and that total could swell to roughly 10 million borrowers soon. We're talking about $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal student debt spread across 42 million Americans. Here's how it works. If you're 270 days late on your federal student loan, you're in default. And once you're in default, the Education Department can seize up to 15% of your after-tax income. They can also take your tax refunds, your Social Security benefits, even your disability payments. The Trump administration says this is about accountability, about protecting taxpayers, about getting borrowers to pay what they owe. That is the official story. But if you dig into the footnotes, something is wrong. Here's what they're not talking about: timing. March 2020. The pandemic hits. The government hits pause on student loan collections. No payments required. No interest accruing. No wage garnishments. For 5 years, borrowers got a break. But here's the problem. When payments restarted in October 2023, millions of borrowers couldn't keep up. Research from TransUnion shows that as of April 2025, 31% of federal student loan borrowers with a payment due were 90 days or more past due. That's triple the rate from before the pandemic. Think about that. 1 in 3 borrowers who owe payments right now are seriously delinquent. And about 12 million borrowers are either delinquent on their loans or in default. That's more than 1 in 4 of all federal student loan borrowers. But the timing gets worse. The Trump administration ended the Save Repayment Plan earlier this month. That was the Biden-era plan that let low-income borrowers make payments as low as $0. 8 million people were enrolled in Save. Now they have to switch to other plans with higher payments. And then there's the One Big Beautiful Bill Act passed in July. It eliminated unemployment deferments, cut forbearance options, and created unpredictable payment spikes that hit borrowers when their income crosses certain thresholds. So let me connect the dots. The government paused collections for 5 years. Millions of borrowers got used to not paying. Then payments restarted during a period of high inflation and rising costs. Then they eliminated the most affordable repayment plan. Then they removed safety nets for unemployed borrowers. And now, 2 weeks from now, they're going to start seizing paychecks. This is where the math stops adding up. Here's the metric that predicts what happens next: the delinquency pipeline. Right now, 5.5 million borrowers are in default. Another 3.7 million are more than 270 days late on their payments, and 2.7 million are in the early stages of delinquency. That's nearly 12 million borrowers who are either already in default or headed there fast. But here's what makes this a crisis. When you hit 270 days delinquent, you automatically enter default. No appeal, no negotiation. You cross that line, and the government's collection powers activate. Research from the American Enterprise Institute warns we're headed toward what experts are calling a default cliff. If those 3.7 million late-stage delinquent borrowers don't catch up, the number of Americans in default could nearly double by fall 2026. And here's the part that should terrify you. The unemployment rate increased to 4.6% in October and November, the highest since 2021. A former Education Department official told reporters that families are being forced to choose between paying bills and putting food on the table. And now the government is going to take 15% of their paychecks. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at 2008. After the financial crisis, student loan default rates exploded. The government responded by expanding income-driven repayment plans and offering forbearance. It worked. Defaults stabilized. But this time is different. The safety nets are gone. The affordable plans are being eliminated. And the political will to help borrowers has evaporated. So what does this mean for you? If you have federal student loans and you're behind on payments, understand this. January 7th is not just about 1,000 borrowers. It's the beginning of a systematic collection effort that could affect millions. The Department of Education says the notices will increase in scale on a month-to-month basis. That's government speak for, this is just getting started. If you're in default or close to it, you have options, but you need to act now. Contact the Default Resolution Group. Look into loan rehabilitation. Explore income-driven repayment before those plans disappear too. The real story here isn't about borrowers who won't pay. It's about a system that paused for 5 years, restarted during economic turbulence, eliminated the safety nets, and is now turning on the collection machine. 5 million borrowers are already in default. Another 7 million are heading there. And in 2 weeks, the government starts taking their paychecks. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial or legal advice. Consult with a qualified professional regarding your specific situation.